Joining me now, Democratic Congressman Jan Schakowsky of Illinois and Republican Congressman Todd Rokita of Indiana. Thanks to you both on this busy day for joining me.
Thank you.
You bet.
So here we are. We have the continuing resolution, and as I understand it, there's this chance of a vote coming up later. What do we think is likely to happen? I'll put this to you, Congressman Rokita. I mean, the Senate has already said they will reject anything that in any way, shape, or form adds to what they've sent over to the House.
Well, yeah, I appreciate it, Karen. That's up to the Senate. You're going to see a vote tonight that is going to be very strong for getting rid of one of the most insidious laws ever devised by man, and also putting out there one of the most popular things that have come through this town in a very long time, and that is repealing the medical device tax that 79 senators, I believe, have already voted for. So
but
this
how
is,
providing health insurance for millions of Americans an insidious law? Explain that
because
to
it
me.
puts a bureaucrat in between the patient and the doctor, number one. It drives up health care costs, and I'm getting story after story in my office about how people are losing their health care coverage, that their employer's not going to provide it anymore. It's also diminishing the 40-hour work week. It's incentivizing a 30-hour work week, which used to be the 40-hour work week used to be the backbone of the middle class, and President Obama, because of his signature law and his arrogance, all right, 1,200 waivers already, 13 times in the last 8 months.
Congressman,
parts of this law have been delayed. Why wouldn't he agree with us to delay for a year?
Here's the concern I have about what you're saying.
A law that's already not ready for prime time.
Congressman, the data doesn't support what you're saying. We've seen reports that indicate, in terms of the costs, for about 95% of people, their costs are going to actually go down. We won't know fully, most of the reports indicate, until everything is implemented, but in state by state, it'll vary here and there. So to make a blanket statement,
I agree.
I don't think we know that.
We also saying that costs will go down.
Well, it's not government propaganda. You've had the state of New York has already said, the state of California, they've already said, people have already said their rates are going down. And with regard to, this idea about the work week, I mean, you had Walmart basically decide, you know what, we're not going to be able to get by on, shorting people's time, and they actually are now having to hire people at, full time and provide health insurance because they saw it wasn't really working.
They have to hire more people at part-time, so the wages that the one person used to get are now diminished and cut in favor of 2 people.
Well, again, the data doesn't show, the research is not showing that that's what's happening. The research is showing that that's not happening. So
I think you're looking at the data that the last woman you spoke with is giving you.
No, I think I'm looking at the data, from pretty objective sources.
Okay.
Congresswoman,
no, I don't think so.
Congresswoman Schakowsky, I want to play something for you and get your reaction, because it strikes me a lot of what this feels like is really about politics, not about policy. And there was an interview earlier today with Congressman Riddell with my colleague Craig Melvin that I want to play for you.
There's a political part to this. Undoubtedly,
there's a political part to the whole thing.
Yes, and what's going to happen is we're going to win the Senate, and we're then going to be able to do what's best for the American people, which is to get rid of this law.
So that's what it's...
So, I mean, Congresswoman, it feels like this is not about policy. This is about politics. This is about how do we keep, because, again, we're talking about a continuing resolution. We're not even talking about a full budget. We're talking about kicking the can down the road for political sake in an effort to try to get more Republicans elected, to get more of their way, essentially.
Well, I think if it is a political strategy, it's a very dangerous one. The Wall Street Journal editorialized that these kamikazes will end up with the result of an all-Democratic Congress. And I think that is very likely if they do this. And that this is to risk the economy, the well-being of the United States of America in order to achieve a goal that should be done through regular order. We passed the bill. It was signed by the president. It was ratified by the Supreme Court as constitutional. And this is not the way we decide things here. This is a very dangerous strategy. When the government shuts down, it is likely to do, because by Monday night, it's hard to see how it would continue going. We're going to see, the Fiscal Times estimates about $150 million a day to shut it down. The Department of Veterans Affairs already said that benefits, including disability benefits, will definitely be held up at the department. Meals on Wheels and other nutrition programs for pregnant women will be halted, at least temporarily. We're going to The enormous consequences that real people will feel. The 400 museums and parks, public parks, national parks that will shut down, and perhaps half of the 1.2 million civilian federal employees that will be laid off. This is what they're doing in order to try and change Obamacare, which isn't going to happen.
And you know, Congressman Rokita, to that point, I mean, you obviously were in the meeting, your meeting today with the Republican caucus, and when you made the decision essentially to put forward this this proposal with the one-year delay, with the tax, knowing that the Senate would reject it, knowing that this would again continue this standoff. I mean, aren't you in effect voting? But aren't you in effect essentially by voting for a shutdown?
Karen, I'll tell you what. I actually agree with Jan. It would be terrible if the president and Harry Reid shut down the government.
But then why are you sending them something that you know they're not going to sign? I guess that's the question. You know it's not going to happen.
Under the Constitution, the House of Representatives is in charge of the purse strings of this country. And what we're saying is this Obamacare is not ready for prime time. It should be delayed and not funded for a year until it gets ready. We're talking a lot more than just computer glitches. We're talking about hurting real families and real individuals, because this law is not ready. And that is within our constitutional right. In fact, that's our constitutional duty to do that. So Harry Reid and the president are the only ones saying, and some Senate Democrats, except for Joe Manchin, who said he would vote for a proposal similar to this. So we have bipartisan support to get this thing taken care of. And the only one saying that we're going to shut down the government is Harry Reid and the President of the United States and the young.
I would say to my colleague, good luck selling to the American people that it is not the Republicans' fault that the government is going to shut down.
Jan, set you free.
Well, and I think the truth is, I mean, come on, let's be honest. The truth is, by sending the Senate a measure you know will not succeed, you know will then mean it comes back to you, and we have this ping pong, the government is going to shut down. I think that is a proactive choice that Republicans in Congress are making.
No, that's a proactive choice that Harry Reid and the president have made.
We have to leave it there. Thank you to Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky and Congressman Todd Rokita. Thanks.
Thank you.
Coming up, Ted Cruz says his fellow Republicans should come on home. Yeah, because they're the ones who are off the reservation. We'll be right back.
Who loves social networking as much as you? Identity thieves. They can find your personal information and do some serious damage, like your birthday or your mother's maiden name. You need a new friend. LifeLock. We scour billions of data points every day. And if we discover that any of your personal information is misused, LifeLock is there. Call us at 1-800-LifeLock or go to lifelock.com today.
I'm kind of seeing some kind of...
This is an alien species.
Reality check. A lot of 4G LTE coverage maps don't really look like much at all.
I see the Aleutian Islands.
Looks like a